Yes, hello, this is Danhausen here, very nice for evil, and you are listening to Bob After Dark. Subscribe or be cursed.
From Mothman and Nessie to the spirit that haunts your home, welcome to Bob After Dark, a podcast about legends, lore, and the supernatural. So turn your lights down and your volume up and enjoy your trip to the shadows.
Hey there, children of the night, and welcome to Bob After Dark, the show that takes you into the shadows and goes and says hello, everything that goes bump in the night. I'm your host with the most that enjoys toast, Bob, and alongside of me, as always, is my ever wonderful, ever vampiric, ever hoodie wearing.
You know, it's tough to wear the cape, Bob.
With the hoodie, yeah. I get it. Hoodie wearing and new fresh haircut rocking.
Yeah, how about
Count
that?
Panic himself. Oh, hey there, Count Panic.
Oh, hey, Bob. Yes, back here on a March Madness edition of Bob After Dark. Bob, we are live. Of course, we're always on the podcast format.
Yeah, of course.
We are live on the Jed TV, and of course, March Madness is taking over the radio airwaves. Oh, I know you're big in the March Madness.
How's your bracket looking?
It's busted already. Well, Bob is what it is. But,
Already?
But you know what? You can feel it in the nation when you walk around that March Madness is sweeping the nation.
I suppose so. I am the farthest thing from...
You're a Gonzaga fan, aren't you?
A what?
Gonzaga, right? Or what do you like? You like the Tar Heels?
The who?
We gotta get you back. There might be a cryptid team out there, like the
Mothmen?
Yeah.
That's probably some like minor league baseball team in West Virginia. I don't know.
We'll root for them.
I would root for the Mothmen. I don't do sports, folks. I'm not one of those people who are like anti-sport, because I get why people like them, and I'm not the stereotypical sports ball person where oh yay team. I generally get the idea of most sports. It's just not for me. I play disc golf though.
That's a sport.
Disc golf and professional wrestling is the extent
sports
of
entertainment.
We don't call it that anymore.
Call it wrestling.
We call it wrestling. Those are the extent of my knowledge of professional sports.
Well, we got Bob Madness inside the studio tonight, but you can still call in
219-845-1100. That's 219-845-1100.
Bob Madness.
Yes.
Bob Bonanza.
If this is your first time watching or listening to an episode of Bob After Dark, we are your weekly show where we talk about legends, lore, and supernatural things that go bump in the night, lights in the sky, weird cryptid stories, and of course Count Panic's weekend update, because did you think I forgot about that?
Oh, you didn't ask me last time, did you?
No, I totally asked you
Oh,
last
did you?
time.
Okay.
Your weekend updates are usually just, it was a good weekend.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if I did anything
It's St.
crazy.
Patrick's Day weekend.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, you know, Bob, of course, everybody's Irish on St. Patrick's Day, even vampires. And it was a good one. I didn't see any parades per se, but you know, I had the Guinness, I had the green beer.
That's good.
Partook in those festivities of the Irish culture.
Yes.
So yeah, all in all, it was a good St. Patrick's Day weekend. Did you do anything?
I was at Indiana Comic-Con.
You were?
Yeah.
Celebrating St. Patrick's.
St. Patrick's. I didn't even realize, and when I came home, I was in rest mode. And when rest mode came along, yesterday I just kind of slumped in one spot for most of the day until I had to stream. And then by the time that happened, I was just done with the world. So I did not partake.
Partaking.
I did not. Usually I'll have like a Guinness or a green beer, right?
Yeah.
Or throw out Leprechaun. This year it just didn't happen.
Leprechaun, yeah.
You know,
hit classic.
The hit classic, you know, it's the most famous St. Patrick's Day movie.
That doesn't really go up against much, though.
I'm sure there's Ringman and Bass. Is that the company? You know which ones? Racken and Bass. The claymation company who did like all the famous Christmas, like Santa Claus is coming to town. Rankin and Bass.
With the California Raisins, or no? Oh no, you're talking about the
claymation Rudolph and Santa Claus is coming to town.
Yep.
I think they did a St. Patrick's Day thing. I'm sure they did. However, we didn't. You know, it never came up that way.
Oh, okay.
But say the Leprechaun just kind of was more popular.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's an actual holiday there, Bob, and people.
No, and 100%. People are, I'm excited for people that were, able to enjoy their day, rye bread and soda bread and
Corned beef and cabbage.
That doesn't sound exciting to me. The cabbage, maybe
You
if
like
you threw it in a
cabbage?
soup form with the carrots, I would eat that.
Maybe
but-
cabbage and cabbage instead of corned beef and cabbage. Just a plate of cabbage. That could be fun.
I suppose. St. Joseph's Day is the day I
That's,
celebrate.
tomorrow.
That is
As we're
tomorrow.
filming this.
That's why, in fact, if you see, I'm wearing a little bit of red tonight.
See, I'm kind of wearing green, I think, tonight.
So we're
blending
acting
holidays.
opposite. Yep. Gonna have pierogies tomorrow, Count?
Hey, Bob, if there's always an opportunity to get one, I'll make sure I do have one. But
Go drop over by Vigos.
yeah, is that the Bob of After Dark stamp of approval?
It's good. It's not Warsawin by any means.
Oh.
I miss Warsawin desperately, but it's good. People that are watching this are like, why are they talking about Polish food? Especially my newer fans that are tuning in from when they joined in at ICC this past weekend. People are like, why are they doing this?
They're
when
intrigued by it
talking
all.
about ghosts. I promise you, we'll get to the spooky stuff.
This
But
is the spooky stuff.
This is the spooky stuff. What did you eat during St. Patrick's Day? That's the spooky
haunted
stuff.
cabbage.
Haunted corned beef and cabbage. Now, Count.
Yeah.
You know how Bob After Dark works, the show?
How does it work?
We split the show up into two parts. First part of the show is the weird spooky news of the week. It's where you, the fans, and me, the Bob, go scouring the internet for the weird and unusual news stories, anything relating to, like, ghosts or cryptids making it into major media news outlets, lights in the sky pictures being reported, or weird advances in science fiction, science that borderline on science fiction. I have 3 news stories today, and we're going to go over those. Count Panic is not prepared for any of them.
Nope.
So we get the hashtag Panic's take at the end of all of the news stories.
I can't wait.
All right, and then the second part is the lore of the week, which this week I'm hip to be squared, Count Panic.
Okay.
We're talking about a new topic,
All right.
something that has apparently blown up in popularity recently-ish.
All right. So
All right.
Can we say that it's the meat and potatoes? It's this week the
Is
corned
the
beef and
corned
cabbage.
beef- So is the cabbage the
Cabbage
news
is-
story?
'cause that's the potatoes and your regular.
Yes, and then
yeah,
the corned beef
is
would
the
be
story, yeah.
yes, but for tomorrow for St. Joseph's Day, what do you usually? What's your St. Joseph's Day spread?
I mean, I know there's a traditional one that happens every year there, Bob. But I mean, pierogi. I guess you could just say your sausage and pierogi.
Okay,
But they're both equal in my
They're both.
opinion.
I was gonna say, John's gonna call up and awfully upset that you're not celebrating St. Joseph's Day.
Oh, well, there's always a celebration going on.
219-845-1100. Call in and tell Count Panic you're disappointed. He's
Yeah.
not more excited for St. Joseph's
I am.
Day.
I'm pumped up. I got my St. Joseph decorations up and everything.
It doesn't get as much love as St. Patrick's Day. I'll give you that. All right, you ready to move on?
Yeah.
All right, so our first story comes to us from Fox 10, and that is somewhere in the Phoenix, actually. This was written by Dan O'Mara, and the article's name is Box Demon in Paper Mask Leaves Unsettling Message on Pennsylvania Doorbell Cam.
Oh.
So this thing, the best way I could describe it is somebody came and did one of the Ring camera. They got on the Ring camera, and they have a paper plate mask that's grotesquely drawn on it with flower petals covered in tape.
That's terrifying.
Okay, so a person wearing a handmade paper mask who identified themselves as the Box Demon paid an unsettling visit to a Pennsylvania home on Monday. I am the Box Demon. I am the Box Demon. An unknown voice is heard saying from behind the mask. The Northern York County Police Department said the person left an empty cardboard box in front of the home's front porch and just walked away. Investigators are seeking public's help in identifying the person behind the mask. What we know, the Box Demon introduced themselves on Monday night, just yesterday, in an unsettling doorbell video that was later shared by the Northern York Police Department. And all that was said was, I am the Box Demon, I am the Box Demon, and then They went on to say, I leave you with this gift. This box is a nice gift for you, the voice says. Do you want me to use the voice again?
Yeah, let's hear the voice.
I leave you with this gift. The box is a gift for you.
Oh, hey, I like it.
You know, if I was the box demon, that's how I would sound. I assure
course.
you guys I am not the box demon.
No.
So they're trying to see if they are trying to identify the suspicious person behind the masks and who is the box demon.
Well, yeah.
They were wearing, by the way, like a tie-dye top and this really terrifying mask, which is why I don't get a Ring doorbell, because I'm afraid of what I'm going to see.
You never know what you're going to see, Bob.
Yes. So, hashtag Panics Take.
Yeah, first and foremost, a shout out that I just got a message in here from Lori, who's watching on the Jed TV.
Hello, Lori.
Not a fan of the way I say cabbage. Cabbage?
How do you pronounce cabbage?
I think it's just the
cabbage.
cabbage.
Cabbage, that's the south side in you. The cabbage. You got to get the cabbage and the corned beef.
Maybe I'm not saying it enough. Like
Sausage.
Sausage.
Sausage. How do you...
Cabbage.
Cabbage.
That's the fancy way. of saying
Cabbage.
cabbage.
Ah, yes.
Cabbage.
You need to eat the cabbage.
The cabbage.
Thanks, Lori, for giving us crap about the way we pronounce. The better question is, Lori, did I pronounce
She didn't
cabbage
say anything
correctly?
about your pronunciation, so I think it's just
So
my
can you
pronunciation.
repeat it one more time for me?
Cabbage.
Cabbage.
Cabbage. Maybe
Okay.
but see, now that I know I'm saying it, maybe I'm just trying to say it
I'm going to try
differently.
to catch you off guard later because I need to hear it now. But anyway, so let me get your...
Yeah, you know what? I'm totally with you. This is a terrifying homemade costumes. The Ring doorbell, they say it's great, but all it takes to see one thing like this in there, and you're like, oh, you're terrified for life. So, Bob, not a fan.
Nope. Listen, man, spooky pranks are one thing, but you do that to the wrong house, you're going to get the wrong person answering the door. And I am telling you, you do that to the wrong person, you're going to be walking away. You might not be walking away. Let's just say it that way. I don't recommend you play spooky pranks on people like this because you never know who's going to be behind that door.
Yeah, you never know. Don't do it.
Nope. And that's just my my take on it. But the box demon, I gotta give him credit for the name. The name is stupid, but it's clever.
Yeah, it's pretty to the point.
Now, what are you gonna do if the box demon shows up here, Cal? Because we're talking about it
The box.
with just an empty box.
Yeah. Just box each other.
You okay over there?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure. You ready to move on to?
I'm trying to get used to this new camera angle, too. It's on the side.
It is. That's my cadence is back to. So my camera is at 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
You're at like 2.
So if I'm realistically, I should be sitting like this, but then I can't.
But then you're not switching between the
I don't have a
cameras.
cape on. It's just unprofessional.
The cadence is the cadence is rough.
Yeah.
I'll say
We'll
that
figure it
much. Well, I mean, it's something to get used to.
We have no control here.
No, we don't. All right, you ready to move on to our next news story?
Yeah.
All right, so our next news story comes from MSN, and it is written by Arzeki Armani, Arezkiamiri. Spooky 2,400-year-old figurines found in an El Salvador pyramid may have been used in ancient Mesoamerican rituals. In the heart of El Salvador, a recent archaeological discovery has reignited fascination with the enigmatic societies of Mesoamerica. Hidden within a 2,000-year-old pyramid near the municipality of San Isidro, Isidro, a collector of particular fine clay figurines has emerged, shedding light on rituals and beliefs that a civilization long lost to time. The artifacts, which are with their seemingly expressive faces, have left researchers grappling with questions about their purpose and significance. Published in the journal Antiquity on March 5th, the findings offer a tantalizing glimpse into the spiritual and cultural practices of a society on a cusp of hierarchy complex. When archaeologists from the University of Warsaw entered the pyramid, hey, shout out to Poland, they were met with an eerie sight. Dozens of clay figures, their wide, expressive eyes seemingly watching from the shadows. These artifacts crafted by hand approximately 2,400 years ago, vary in size and some standing 30 centimeters tall and others as small as 5 centimeters. Their finely detailed faces, though enigmatic, suggest a level of artistry and intentionality that has captivated researchers. Carbon-14 dating places these creation of these figures between 410 and 380 BCE during the middle to late pre-classic period. And this era spans just between 2500 BCE to 200 CE and was a time of profound transformation in Mesoamerica, marked by the complex societies as the Olmecs and the Maya. The figurines identified as Bolinas figurine tradition are believed to have played a role in rituals, though their exact purpose remains shrouded in mystery. The arrangement of the figurines within the pyramid has sparked an intense debate among researchers. Positioned in what archaeologists describe as the Tableau, Tableau, these artifacts may have been represented individuals, deities, or even ancestors. Some scholars draw parallels to Lares and Penates of ancient Rome household gods believed to protect the home, or the Ushtabi, Ushabti figurines of Egypt, which were intended to serve their owners in the afterlife. The diversity in the size and expression among the figures suggests that they have served multiple functions. Were they votive offerings meant to appease gods and spirits, or did they represent members of the community, perhaps leaders or reserved individuals? The lack of written records from this period complicates efforts to decipher their meaning, leaving researchers to rely on comparisons with other Mesoamerican cultures and artifacts. The discovery of similar figurines along the coast of El Salvador and Guatemala hints at a border cultural network during the pre-classic period. These artifacts, found across hundreds of kilometers, suggested that they shared a set of beliefs or practices among the disparate communities. This cultural cohesion may have laid groundwork for the immersive of powerful societies like the Olmecs and the Maya, who would later dominate the region. The Bolinas figurines also raise question of social structures at the time. Were they created by a society already organized in the hierarchies, or do they reflect a transitional phase as communities move toward greater complexity? The answers to these questions could reshape our understanding of how Mesoamerican civilizations evolved. Hashtag Panics Take.
Yeah, Bob. Clay figures can be very terrifying. These are more so than your typical lawn gnome in your local nursery there. But where do clay figures... I know you hate dolls, but are clay figures up there for you? I mean, just look at their faces. I mean, they are kind of eerie. They're kind of like dolls in a sense.
They are like dolls, but they're not dolls. They're
dolls,
figurines.
figures.
There's a difference.
So figures are less scary to you than dolls.
They're statues, essentially.
Yes.
They're essentially small statues. And I wouldn't say that those frighten me by any means.
Yeah. Well, no, but I mean, okay, so on the terrifying level, it's not the same. But yeah, Bob, this is a very strange, very eerie. I would dare say that the statues might be even more terrifying to dolls. I mean, they're kind of stoic in nature. And I think that ranks them pretty high on the terrifying level, Bob. Statues. You had to see some creepy statues in your day.
Yeah, I would say so. I've been to enough cemeteries and seen a lot of spooky
even not in the
statues, but these were used in some sort of purpose.
Yeah.
Some sort of metaphysical purpose.
Yeah. Terrifying, Bob. Put it up there on the list.
Absolutely. All right, you ready for our final news story of the evening?
Yeah.
Pardon me. Our final story comes to us from Medical Life Scientist News. Traditional paranormal belief linked to higher stress and distress levels. When I found this article, I had to laugh because, oh boy, my stress levels are through the roof these days. And and don't forget, I have a belief in the paranormal.
Yeah.
I want to say I am not a member of this study program, but I wish they would have called me.
They go hand in hand maybe here. We're getting results.
All right, you ready? Do you hear this one? All right, so this was written by the Bial Foundation, BIAL. on February 22nd, 2025, and it was just starting to kind of make its rounds. So a study of 3,084 participants evaluated whether two types of belief in the paranormal might be associated with different levels of perceived stress. The results showed that the traditional paranormal belief was significantly associated with a higher level of distress with an increased susceptibility to stress. At the same time, New Age philosophy did not seem to contribute to these dynamics. Research into paranormal beliefs is relevant because these beliefs, which are common in society, can influence behavior and attitudes such as greater distrust in science and adherence to pseudoscientific ideas. Although historically associated with the maladaptive psychological processes, recent studies indicate that the paranormal beliefs do not compromise psychological well-being except in the presence of high factors such as high levels of transliminality, increased sensitivity to an internal or external stimuli, or psychopathological traits such as schizophrenic and manic depressive tendencies. Despite this, in times of stress, beliefs in the paranormal can act as forms of illusionary coping, offering a sense of control, but often promoting avoidance strategies that impair psychological functioning. The literature on this subject is thus inconsistent, raising questions on how different types of beliefs in the paranormal impact well-being, considering their cultural, social, or individual bases. Traditional paranormal belief, or TPB, is linked to cultural and social notations that attribute control to external supernatural forces such as spirits or fate, often offering comfort in situations of collective uncertainty. New Age philosophy, on the other hand, emphasizes individual and spiritual approaches such as meditation and positive energy, suggesting that control lies within individuals themselves. These differences can divergently impact well-being depending on the context, but have yet been properly studied. To answer this question, with the support of the Bio Foundation, a research team led by Neil Dagnall from Manchester Metropolitan University in the UK, Andrew Denovan from Liverpool John Moores University, UK, carried out a study based on statistical modeling involving a sample of 3,084 participants aged over 18 and living in the UK to assess whether TPB and NAP differentially associate with perceived stress, a variable often used in studies in the field as an indicator of well-being. The results in the revealed in the article, Revaluation of the Relationship Between Paranormal Belief and Perceived Stress Using Statistical Modeling, published in the scientific journal PLOS One, PLOS. The article indicated that TPB was significantly associated with higher stress levels and lower coping capacity. NAP, in contrast, showed no predictive association. According to Neil Dagnall, these results suggest that TPB may reflect a reduced perception of control over external factors, which can increase susceptibility to stress, whereas NAP, due to its more focused on individual issues, does not appear to contribute to these dynamics. Thus, understanding the fundamental differences between these beliefs is essential to addressing the psychological impact of belief in the paranormal, emphasizes Neil Dagnall. The researchers have additionally underlined that TPB is not causally related to distress. Rather, the relationship is more nuanced, and in some contexts, reduced control may associate positively with TPB, with TPP subsequently serving an adaptive function such as facilitating coping. Hashtag panics take before I get on my soapbox, because boy howdy do I have an opinion.
There's a lot there to unpack, Bob, but you know what? Science, right? Can we say this is all scientific information now? The researchers have done their jobs. might be some
3,084 people.
There might be some truth into this, Bob. I mean, you don't get stats like that without, doing your due diligence and whatnot. I mean,
How does me believing in ghosts add to my stress level, man?
well, Bob, I'm
Me
not a
adding,
scientist, so
I understand
they prove
that.
this here.
I get it. I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
But
You're not a
my
scientist.
belief in the paranormal doesn't add to my stress and my anxiety.
You
I
think
hate to break it to you.
You think
guys.
it helps it, though?
I don't think the two are related.
Don't
I mean,
think so.
like
They're
when I'm
separate.
working on my show, I do research, and that seems.
Are you
to-
stressed?
No, and if I am, it's about the show maybe itself, not the content. We have a caller.
We have
on
a
the
caller.
line.
We'll take it live there.
Caller, you're on the air.
Boy, Bob, that is a lot to digest.
It is now, John. Do you? You call in every week. You listen to the show. Do you think I'm more stressed because of my belief in the paranormal?
Not at all. Matter of fact, I think you could just put fear and fill in the blank, because it's just. I mean, how many thousands of things people are fearful of, right? So this is just another long version that I'm trying to interpret that somebody might say they're fearful of. And am I right or wrong?
I would agree with you. I think that what they're measuring is acidine. It makes no sense to me. What is, I get, that's no question. That's no different than John me saying you like chunky peanut butter. And I don't know if you do or you don't, but that's the same thing as saying people who like chunky peanut butter. If I get 10 of you in the room and you all say, I suffer from a little bit of stress. Well, I'm sorry, but I'm attributing the chunky peanut butter to your stress levels now. It's the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's all kind of, people have got phobias and fears of all kind of things. I mean, how do you, like you just said, what do you say to someone that got fear of the paranormal activity? Or, I mean, I don't know. It just don't make sense to me. I mean, apparently my due to the author of that, but, I don't know. It's kind of hard to interpret, what you just said there, but I get it. But anyway, happy St. Joseph's Day tomorrow.
To you too, John.
I don't know what Bob does on St. Joseph's Day other than just a normal day, or what?
I always try to eat something good and Polish that day, because that was, back when Dad was alive and Warsaw Inn was still open. Every St. Joseph's Day we went to Warsaw Inn. That was tradition.
Yeah, you know what? You would think that St. Patrick's, with the corned beef and cabbage, I mean, there's not a place where you could go and not find it, that there wouldn't be something similar to that, like a Polish platter or something on St. Joseph's Day,
Exactly.
I mean, I know, unless there is out there that I don't know of, maybe the count does, maybe there is, maybe there are a lot of places that are serving,
Polish platters tomorrow.
Polish platters or something like that, but, yeah, you know what? Happy St. Joseph's Day to you. And did you get a chance to watch them astronauts come down?
Oh,
I noticed that they made it, so
That was
good
big,
that they're
yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they had it obviously live on every channel, and it was amazing to see. I mean, it was, it's hard to fathom how because they said they were only supposed to be up there 8 days, and I guess the maximum you could be in space is 3 months. And they were, 200-some days, and
It was longer, I feel like.
and I guess they really have to be evaluated, physically and mentally, because, it's like one of those commercials when you're taking a medication, the side effects could be this, 1,000 things that could be wrong with them, but it's amazing how, because you picture yourself in space. I mean, I don't know. What do you do? What do you eat? Where do you go? I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's amazing to me. That how they go up there and they come down. I mean, it's
Now, John, does your belief in astronauts returning to Earth add to your stress levels? I'm sorry, I'm back to this.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I guess it sounds like it, ain't it?
My
But-
word.
Yeah, I just can't pick. I just can't picture. I don't know. I guess I just can't picture people in space for that kind of
It's a long time.
length of time. And I mean, how do you exist from the? I don't know. It's amazing to me. I mean, it's something that I guess you really gotta be cut out for to do something like that. I mean,
100%.
Get some good overtime pay though.
what do you do if you get a panic attack, right? I mean,
You just kind of you don't believe in the paranormal, and apparently it goes away. I'm sorry. I'm stuck on this. This is gonna be my report now forever.
hey, well, you got a big kick out of it. You started off laughing, and you're ending up laughing about it. So you know what? At least you're getting some laughs out of it. That's for sure.
Thanks,
So,
John. I appreciate you.
all right, I'll be continue to listen. Have a good show, Bob.
Thanks, John.
All right, we'll see you.
Have a good one.
Well, and Bob, they say in space, nobody could hear you scream, right? So
Yes.
terrifying up
Now,
there.
folks, if you're listening to the show,
Space Ghost.
if you're listening to the show, I'm not asking you to call in to break a record. I'm not calling to hype anybody up.
Just tell us how stressed you are.
I just need to know how stressed you are listening to my show. Does the belief in the paranormal add stress to you? Now, I'm going to harp on this just for a couple more seconds.
Sure.
Now, you play devil's advocate before John called, and you asked me, does my research into the paranormal add stress? It's not the concept of believing in the paranormal that adds stress. For me, it would be like, geez, does this topic make sense for my show? Am I going to... is this going to be a dud? Is it going to be a good episode? Whatever it might be. I've been doing this for, quite a bit of time here. So coming up with new and exciting topics and stuff, that could stress me out, I guess. But the generalized belief in the paranormal, huh? I don't know. And I'm not calling out these guys by any means. They obviously did their thing, and they know what they're doing, apparently. They're scientists, and I'm not. And once again, we're back to science calling what I do a pseudoscience, which I get, even though, I'm looking at these things and trying to scientifically prove, paranormal existence. I'm using the scientific method and all that jazz. But that's okay. I understand. But what I don't get it. This study is so funny to me because 3,084 people, but the New Age folk, the people that believe, and they don't specify what, but the New Age philosophy, they talk about meditation and the concept of self-belief and things like that. That doesn't add to levels of stress, but that's important to add, We got a caller.
We got a caller, Bob. Maybe
Caller, you're on the
stressed. I
air.
don't
Are
know
you
if you're stressed
stressed?
Hey, it's Lori. I'm stressed all the time.
She's stressed.
Lori, do you account your stress to your belief in the paranormal or lack thereof?
No, so I'm like you. I'm like, okay, there's a soapbox I got to get on. So you had a good point where it's like correlation does not equal causation, all that other stuff. Like you can, like your example, you can get 10 people that like chocolate ice cream or something, put them all in a room. Are you stressed? Well, it might be the ice cream, or it might be just the group that you grabbed, and maybe stress level in general in society these days as high as it is.
You are 100% correct.
Yeah.
And then I was kind of comparing it to like, okay, they said before, like if you lend yourself to a higher power, if you believe in a higher power afterlife, you should be less stressed because you would think, and that's kind of where I come at it with, okay, if I believe in the paranormal, I've seen things, I personally, believe that there's other realms and there's something after death. So if anything, shouldn't that not stress you out, stress you out less because you're thinking, well, I shouldn't take it so hard because, we're bigger than this.
I would agree.
You think?
I again, and I appreciate you calling in and sharing your words there because I didn't know if I'm just coming across as grumpy old man yells at cloud. I thought that's how I'm coming across here, but it doesn't. It's such a weird study. I don't know. But the people that believe in meditation, they're not stressed, which makes total sense because they're trying to take control.
It's supposed to help you, though.
That's supposed to help.
So meditation, I can see how that's related to, thinking of things of the afterlife. And paranormal stuff and just things that prove that, the world just isn't this little cluster that, don't stress out. There's more to life than just stress. So I don't know. That's my perspective on it. And it's always been my little escape for that reason. But yeah, no, I totally agree. I agree that how did they get 3,000 people?
I'm doing a study. I'm going to ask 3,085 people.
Oh.
That's one more. And I'll be like, are you stressed because of ghosts? And that's going to be my study. Are you stressed because of ghosts?
You'll probably get some people that are stressed.
And I'm sure people might tell me yes, but my word, I have never heard something more crazy.
I don't know.
I know. I like who thought to do this study, and I've known in the psychological field and studying stress and all that. It's hard to find at least 100 people for a study to make it legit. So where are all these 3,000 people coming from?
I don't know, but I'm coming for them.
I'll co-sign on your study. We got this.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You got to make her say cabbage.
Oh yeah, can you say you got to tell me this leafy vegetable. What do you call it?
Cabbage.
Cabbage.
But the way, you were saying it fine. Count Panics over here. Cabbage.
Cabbage.
This haunted cabbage.
Cabbage.
You need to stop saying cabbage.
I think the way you pronunciate cabbage is causing Lori stress here.
That's stressful.
Okay, so you're saying cabbage causes stress.
Cabbage Patch Kids, yes.
Not Cabbage Patch Kids.
What are those?
Thank you so
We're
much for
stressed. We're all
calling in, Lori.
stressed
We
here.
appreciate
No problem. Just know I gotcha, and we'll start our study soon.
There you
it.
go.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Bye,
Yeah, Lori,
guys.
take care. You know what? She's got a point there. I mean,
That you pronounce cabbage weird?
that as well. But the afterlife, you're supposed to take solace in the fact that if you believe in an afterlife, it comforts you a little bit more. Now, we don't know. These people that are thinking about ghosts in the other sense are getting stressed out by it. Maybe they're being haunted by ghosts right now, and that's their big dilemma. 3,084 people are being haunted by ghosts.
And I don't want to be that guy. I feel bad for calling these people out because it's an interesting study, I guess. Science is looking at a paranormal belief and trying to, say that people are stressed about it. I don't know. I guess you can. I don't know. I'm not trying to.
You're getting stressed just thinking about it.
I'm getting this paranormal belief study has got me stressed.
Yeah. Try not to think about
Because now I'm thinking about it being am I stressed because I believe in ghosts?
You are.
I don't think so. I'm getting sweaty here, just getting overhyped about it.
This conversation is stressing you.
Absolutely. All right, Count, you want to take a quick break?
Sure.
All right, folks, stick around for our podcast fans. You're about to be hearing words from a podcast that you should be listening to. Stay tuned.
Welcome to Ghostly.
Pat, what are you doing?
What? I want people to know that we're a podcast that takes a deep dive into some of the scariest ghost stories.
But we don't do the creepy voices or weird sound effects. We debate the ghost stories. And aren't you supposed to be the skeptic?
I am, but they'll find that out once they listen.
Look, all you have to do is tell them to listen to Ghostly, and that our listeners get to decide which stories are real.
And which stories are just old folklore.
Exactly.
Download Ghostly wherever you find great podcasts.
Oh, jeez.
And we're back.
You're back, Bob.
Hello, Count.
Hey.
What did you do during break?
During break, I took a meditation course, Bob, and now my stress levels are through the roof. It did the opposite effect for me.
I'm stressed. You know what I did during break?
What?
I started questioning my beliefs legitimately. Am I stressed because I believe in ghosts?
What if this is the thing that turns you from not being into the paranormal?
Is this my turning point? Pat from Ghostly Podcast somewhere is just petting a cat being yes, of course. I
you don't
want
believe
him
in
over.
this anymore. Yeah.
I don't believe in the paranormal anymore. That's it, folks.
And
Bob After Dark is ending.
And you're less stressed.
Because apparently I'm stressed because of ghosts.
See?
All right. So, Count, we're going to be doing the lore of the week.
Okay.
And before we do the lore of the week, I have to kind of do a did you know type of thing.
Okay.
This week we're talking about an analog horror character, which means it's kind of creepypasta-y, but it's taking the internet by storm. It's a really popular story. But I want to explain what analog horror is before we begin, because I'm assuming that you don't know what
I'm not sure, Bob.
Okay. So analog horror is a subgenre of the horror fiction and an offshoot of the found film footage genre. It is said to have its origins in online horror from the late 2000s and early 2010s, including creepypasta stories and found footage series such as No Through Road and Marble Hornets, which was the big Slender Man web series. The genre gained more widespread popularity between Chris Straub's Local 58 in October 2015, which was a very popular thing. I remember watching that. So, think you're reading a creepypasta story, except it's not a traditional story, but it's like a video that you're watching.
Yeah.
And the video is mostly grainy, found footagey. If you don't know what I mean by found footage, think Blair Witch Project, Cloverfield. Those are found footage movies. So it's the concept that they shot this really guerrilla style, and it's supposed to scare you because it's real, and I quote.
Yeah.
So we are talking about a character by the name of the Boiled One tonight. And The Boiled One is an incredibly popular analog series called The Boiled One Phenomena, written by Dr. Nowhere. All right, so let's talk about it. There's a couple episodes written about it, but let's talk about the Boiled One Phenomena, okay?
Yeah.
The Boiled One Phenomena begins with a warning saying that effects may be disturbing to some viewers, and then instructs the viewers to grab earplugs, a pencil, a piece of paper, and a standard Bible to open up to Psalms 91:10. And that if you hear a strange noise speaking in tongues, just put in the earplugs and continue. It is next says to write, I can see this paper, I can see my hand, I can't hear the screaming of thousands, I can't hear the feast, I am moving, breathing human being on this earth. Then recite Psalms 91:10. No evil shall befall you, no plague shall come near your dwelling. If unholy memories or imagery are in your mind, all you can do is pray. Call the authorities if it continues. Many appear to live a normal life afterwards. Tree of Heaven, 2003. This is their first entry. The text explains that there was once a now classified nature documentary which debuted in the 1990s but had to end because the host died. Then, oddly, on August 13th, 2003, the 13th episode of the series did an unexpected rerun, and the show shows a clip before we return back to text. The text says that during an interlude segment, an anomalous broadcast hijacked the rerun. The broadcast depicts a creepy, melted red face that spoke to viewers in a warm but disconcerting voice, and the voice and its properties are referred to as PHEN 228. During the time that it spoke, clips of hospitals and bedrooms would sometimes be overlaid on the screen. Even more, most remember FEN 228 speaking English, and many non-English speaking viewers were able to remember exactly what the creature said to them. The text says a clip will be shown from the broadcast, but it has been muffled, reversed, and dampened to suppress the dangerous effects of the clip as much as possible. And for maximum safety, it recommends wearing blue light glasses and earplugs. The clip begins with the nature show, but is quickly interrupted by the Boiled One. Because of the altercations, its words are in reverse, but that just makes it all the more unsettling. This broadcast is referred to as Broadcast 813, and about 530 people in a southern Pennsylvania area watched it and were left with unnatural side effects afterwards, and many couldn't keep PHEN 228 out of their heads, and it kept hearing its voice. The next article written about this is the Great Northeast Blackout of 2003, August 14th, 2003. After the incident was detected, the NERC was told to prevent any further escalation in knowledge of the Broadcast 813. The outage spread to various parts of New Jersey, New York, Ohio, and even Canada. It left almost 50 million people without power. During the confusion, all traces of Broadcast 813 were thought to be wiped from existence. We are told the explanation of the blackout, but then the screen mysteriously shows a big white text saying, "But the damage is done." The aftermath and removal of Broadcast 813 left 509 people in Pennsylvania in pseudocoma and was put under government investigation. All people affected had been watching Broadcast 813 when it aired. Over 60 victims were interviewed, communicating in Morse code by blinking. One specifically odd case happened to a war veteran with the alias Job Zambrani. He claimed something unholy was in his home. We were shown an image of PHEN 228 standing in a small playhouse next to Zamparini's backyard. When Fen 228, and Fen being the PHEN, I'm just going to call it Fen for sake. Okay. Fen 228 being massively larger than the playhouse. Zamparini explained that Fen 228 would hurt him and maybe others if he described it or what it was telling him. A recording is played next of Officer T. Gomez of the Emfretta branch interviewing Job. Gomez first asked Zamparini if there were any symptoms before his loss of mobility, to which Zamparini replies, "There was a face." Gomez asks when he began seeing the face, and Zamparini blinks out that he began seeing it on the TV. Gomez's third question asks Zamparini has he had any upsetting or unsettling hallucinations, because the many others who watched Broadcast 813 did. Zamparini replies, "No, it's in the window." Gomez asks what it looks like, and Zamparini blinks out that it is horribly burnt, not of Lord Christ. After that, the picture above his head that says, "Give it to God and go to sleep," and slowly fades away, and the words, "I can see you," appear inside. Gomez continues his interview, asking if Zamparini has had any other hallucinations besides the face. Zamparini explains that he hears the screaming of thousands and trumpets before he sleeps, but even with all of this, he still has faith in Lord Christ. A glitch happens, and then Gomez is gone, and in a window, we can see the top of Fen 228's head, which rises. The video had been hijacked, with the boiled one now showing up in a full image with text. The first sentence reads, "Wonderful day." The second reads, "The miracle of birth." The third reads, "Fetal fanfare." And the fourth and final one is in Japanese, which translated says, "Fear the one and only wannabe bird." And there is another glitch, and the next thing we know, Fen 228 is talking. His mouth stretches and goes longer as he speaks. Listen closely, do you hear it? Which we hear his insides for a bit, which resembles a ribcage and intestines. You will hear the laughter of thousands as the skies open up. As Fen 228 speaks, his insides squish and move like a beating heart. And we go back to Fen 228's face before quickly going to footage clouds, red taking over the bottom before raining blood. You will hear the trumpets play their happy sounds, back to Fen 228 again. The scaling blood of life will pour down upon all of us. We get close up of his side where his arm breaks out of his body when we go to his face, then his insides. Together we will be still. And then back to his face again. A feast fit for a king. And then to the arm that broke out of him. Together, wielded by love and the purest connection, which is tweaking and twisting rapidly. We switch to Fen 228's face for the last time, and it says, "Be still, let the," before there was a glitch, but the images resembling the cloud were shown. That was raining blood. After the glitch, a yellow background appears with a warning symbol and red text underneath that says "Warning." And the warning says, "If you can see the screen, it means you're not safe to continue viewing. The program will end shortly." The warning disappears and instead reads, "Protocol Brevita 228 has been initiated, and it has been replaced. Perform the procedures given to you during the introduction portion of the video immediately." The final text reads, "No evil shall befall you, nor shall any plague come near your dwelling." In red, 3 times before the video ends, Morse code plays during the protocol, presumably by the Boiled One, saying, "I still see you." And that is the and that is the shortened, quickened version of what the Boiled One is.
I don't know, Bob. Don't think I'm a fan too much, but that caused my stress levels to go through the roof.
Are you saying that the Boiled One is
That's the kicker.
that's what's raising your stress level?
It tipped it right over the edge.
All right, let me tell you a little bit about what this thing looks like. The Boiled One is a tall, lengthy humanoid entity with raw crimson skin. He has a misshapen head with a melted appearance, a gaping mouth with many visible teeth and large human-like eyes. Multiple wiry hair-like appendages jut out from its head in straight lines, and he appears to wear a black cloak that covers the rest of his body, which has similarly spiky appendages to those on his head. Several shots in the video also reveal that he has at least one arm with multiple joints and a giant pulsating orifice in his chest. He can change his height depending on how he desires, such as being seen or fitting in certain areas invisible to most naked eyes, and he is visibly only to cameras and those who want to see him.
So you're going to want to see it.
What the little we see of the action suggests that Fen 228 is a malicious yet calmly spoken and highly intelligent entity that actively targets those who cross his path. Based on his speech in one of the hijack broadcasts, it can be inferred that Fen 228 is fully aware of his suffering he inflicts, intentionally causing his victims to experience paralysis and fear. He is also manipulative, attempting to convince his victims that they are destined for a righteous future, while simultaneously telling them that they have no choice but to succumb to his stalking and abuse, while he feeds off of their pain. He's consistently been described as a malevolent messenger and manifestation embodiment of dread, trauma, doomsday, and suffering itself. So what do you think?
Yeah. No, for sure. I mean, the fact that I could shape in kind of whatever he wanted to be like, right? You could kind of morph it, basically. Not a fan, Bob.
Spooky stuff, huh?
Spooky.
So, we look at these creatures that, in these characters, in these, creepypastas, is the story of Fen, excuse me, is the story of this particular creature real Fen 228? No. It was created by somebody named Dr. Nowhere, and it was an analog horror series, so it was a video that you can go watch. It's about 10 minutes, 15 seconds, and it could get a little spooky. It gives you the jitters. I think it's absolutely brilliant, and that's what lore is going to be told. We look at characters like Siren Head that was super popular just a couple of years ago in the creepypasta realm, and this reeks of, Siren Head or Slender Man, stuff like that. These modern day horror icons and that we talk about and that we might believe are actually real, depending on, how people interpret this. There are sightings of Slender Man all over the world, despite it being fake. We came out and told you that on the show. There's interviews with the creator, but how are people still seeing him is the other question. Same thing with Siren Head. People believe that they've seen Siren Head running around acting a fool, but there's interviews from the creator explaining exactly who it is, and it was a creation, but how are people still seeing him? And the same goes for this Fen 228 character. If Fen 228 decides to, kind of act itself, or the Boiled One starts, people are supposedly seeing it in their rooms now. And we'll see, people will believe that these things actually exist. Mm-hmm. I don't know. In my personal case, the evildoer or the Boiled One just sounds like another boogeyman case. And if enough people, believe in something like that, you might be able to cause a Tulpa effect. which is the concept of creating something from nothing. There's a couple quotes here I wanted to directly read to you before we call the show over tonight. These are from the broadcast hijacking from Fen 228. The very memory of my face will cause a manifestation of my being in the future. You will be asleep in bed, and I will be there and watch over you. When you wake, you will not be able to move any part of you. And when the doctors eventually find you, they will not see me, but you will, and I'll see you too. Forever, I'll see you. Listen closely, do you hear it? You will hear the laughter of thousands as the skies open up. You will hear the trumpets that play their happy sounds. The scalding blood of life will pour down onto us all. Together we will still be together, a feast fit for a king. Together, welded by love and the purest connection, be still and just let this. Spooky stuff.
Spooky, and the voice too.
Yeah. So, Count.
Yeah.
That is the story of the boiled one, and it is kind of popping up. Yeah. It's becoming a really popular trend right now. I think this has a potential of becoming the more popular Slender Man in 2025.
New and improved Slender Man.
I would say so. This one's a lot scarier than Slender Man. I'm going to, me and Slendy, I'm going to go, I'll go toe-to-toe with them. But
there you go. This one you won't. Back down.
Do we have a caller?
No.
Oh,
let's get a computer ready.
Oh, okay. Count, do you have any closing words for our audience this evening?
Everybody remain calm out there. Keep those stress levels low.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's not the paranormal doing that, but everybody take care. And a happy post St. Patrick's Day and pre-St. Joseph's Day.
Absolutely. Count, thank you for being here with me on another show. And, folks, I just want to say thank you to all of you who have listened. To my mom, I just want to wish you sweet dreams. To my dad, I hope you're happy, comfortable doing whatever it is that you want to be doing in the universe. And to Tiff, no matter where you are on the planet, I hope that you have the sweetest dreams of them all. Good night, everybody. And remember, the two most important rules of Bob After Dark are not all who wander are lost, and as above, so below. Until next time.
Memoriam Development.